All right, let's bring in constitutional attorney Robert Barnes and Utah Republican Congressman Chris Stewart, who sits on the House Intelligence Committee. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you tonight.
Good evening.
All right, Congressman, I'll start with you. You heard the back and forth there, obviously, from the chairman, Nunes, saying we come to find out there is no original intelligence that led to this kicking off. And obviously the ranking member there, Congressman Adam Schiff, saying the Republicans will do anything to discredit our agencies and try to distract from the ongoing investigation.
Oh, it's just silliness what Mr. Schiff said. He said there's a growing body of evidence. I would ask, what world is he living on? The foundation of this has been dissolving for 8 or 10 months now. And here's the thing. For more than a year, we've heard collusion, and then there's virtually no evidence of that. And so it's a fair question to go back to the FBI and DOJ. Well, if there's no evidence of collusion, on what basis did you begin this investigation? What evidence did you have that did cause you concern? We've been trying to find that out for months and months. They stonewalled us. They, again, by the way, on another subject again. And now finally they provided for us, and we learned what we suspected from the beginning. They had no official American intelligence that led them to believe there was anything here to investigate. That's a meaningful thing for the American people to know, and I don't know why Mr. Schiff would defend that type of behavior.
Well, and somebody who might have more information about all of this is the former deputy director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe. There's now a criminal referral based on what the inspector general found with regard to his statements. And there's now a lot of back and forth, Robert, between him and the former FBI director about who's telling the truth, because they're telling two different versions of this story. In the meantime, University of Chicago professor Charles Lipson says this: even a prosecutor fresh out of law school ought to be able to flip McCabe, who is facing serious jail time and thinks he's been betrayed. Such men are dangerous. If there was a high-level conspiracy to obstruct justice in the Clinton investigation or to use the so-called deep state to smear Trump, McCabe would know a lot about it. Robert, what do you think?
Oh, precisely. There's no question about it. What you have with Andrew McCabe is someone who violated 18 U.S.C. 1001, made multiple false statements in the course of the investigation of the OIG, and he made apparently additionally false statements about who was responsible. Where there was real probable cause for a real criminal investigation was as to the Clinton Foundation. Yet somehow that investigation gets covered up and hushed up. McCabe blames the DOJ. Other people blame McCabe. McCabe says that Comey authorized leaks. Comey said he didn't authorize leaks. What it looks like is an expansive criminal conspiracy of high-ranking people within the Obama Department of Justice to cover up for the Clintons and to bring a investigation against President Trump where there was no probable cause. There was no factual foundation, as we discovered again today from Congressman Nunes, for there to have ever been any investigation into the president. So we have cover-ups, we have illicit criminal conduct by the two prior directors of the FBI, and that requires a meaningful and thorough investigation as to what really transpired.
Well, and Congressman, do you think that as this plays out, there's any way for this to be viewed in a nonpartisan way? Because people seem to have drawn their battle lines, and it seems to be, you know, either you support Nunes or you support Schiff. Where do you go from here?
Well, at the end of the day, the truth comes out. And at the end of the day, you can't ignore the truth. And you can continue, as Mr. Schiff has done, to say a growing body of evidence. But the American people aren't stupid. They can look at that and say, well, where is this evidence? If you're claiming this, eventually you've got to show them. And another, I think, important observation, and you allude to it in your question, and that is one of the most discouraging things about this episode is Department of Justice and FBI have no business becoming political animals. And when they do, this is what we're going to see. We see them attack each other now. They're calling each other liars. They're defending themselves. If they didn't get involved in a political process and intervene where they shouldn't have, they wouldn't be in this situation.
Well, and to that point, Robert, do you think, quickly, the Inspector General is now possibly looking into whether James Comey violated any handling of classified information with his memos, which we've now seen partially redacted, but where do you think we go from here?
There's definitely probable cause that James Comey committed criminal espionage. Under Section 793 of Title 18, it doesn't require the information to be classified. It just requires that government proprietary information that was entrusted to James Comey that just related to national security was either removed or disclosed to an unauthorized person. That is clearly the case because when James Comey classified those memos, he admitted and stipulated that those memos included national security information. So even a subsequent declassification would not remove him from criminal exposure under the Espionage Act. So I anticipate the Office of the Inspector General will, in fact, refer James Comey for charges for criminal espionage.
Well, if both he and McCabe are facing those referrals, there could be a lot of discussion amongst the two about who goes next in working with authorities potentially to get to some kind of resolution in both of those cases. Congressman, we're out of time unless you have something to add quickly.
Yeah, just very quickly. I just think it's ironic that the thing that the Director Comey was investigating Hillary Clinton on and he exonerated her is the very thing that he later did himself. And how could he wonder that he would find himself in hot trouble for that?
Yeah, and a lot of people think his changing the standard of how that was applied may actually wind up benefiting him. So, Congressman Stewart, Robert Barnes, great to have you both tonight. Thank you both.